In '68, my father was called to the door and shot down like a darn mad dog. There were 6 men killed him.
Were you there?
I was present, yes.
How old were you, Frank, that
I was just a little kid of a boy. But after the death of my father, there was a man there by the name of Moses Beeman, a friend of father's. He came over there and he put his hand on top of my head and he says, "May an old man's curse rest on you the longest day you live if you don't find and shoot the man that murdered your father." Well, I was just a kid of a boy and I thought I had it to do. And he came over with a pair of old Dragoon cap and ball pistols and learnt me how to use them. That's how I got my name of Pistol Pete. I learned how to use them guns. I can use them yet better than any man in the state, I think.
Nobody really knows for sure. Even OSU historians cannot tell you for sure where the very first contact between OSU and Pistol Pete came from. It's not real clear that there was an official role. It appears from some people that you talk to that he just kind of showed up. And I think a lot of people weren't going to tell him, "No, don't do that." He's wearing a gun, and most of the time it was loaded. And so he would just kind of show up and wander around the sidelines, or if he had access there, he'd wander around and shake hands with people, tell stories, do his quick draw, almost anything to be the center of attention. I mean, he really did love to have people listening to him, seeing him.
Frank Eaton was one of the U.S. Marshals that would come over here and arrest the bad guys that robbed banks in Texas or Kansas or Missouri. He lived down in Perkins, and he came in and was always a spokesman in one of the Oklahoma history classes. And he would tell these great stories about how he would arrest all these bad people, and he had some notches on his gun. I don't know whether that was true or not, but he had like 5 or 6 notches that he had killed these bad people, these outlaws. And anyway, he came in there and he was always showing his quick draw. And a year after I was in Dr. B.B. Chapman's class, he pulled his pistol out and shot a hole in the ceiling of the classroom. And so from that time on, they made him just have blanks.
Basically, the strongest evidence we have is an Armistice Day parade in 1923, when he was a colorful cowboy, colorful character from the area. Our mascot was the Tigers, which has basically nothing whatsoever to do with Oklahoma. And the students said, "Hey, we need to have a mascot that has something to do with this area." And watching the parade, they said, "Look at this. This is a colorful cowboy that totally represents this area. He would be terrific representing our school, so why don't we talk to him?" So stop him, ask him. He said, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to, sort of represent OSU." Basically in '23, we started using different representations, caricatures. He would actually show up at events, sort of representing the university somewhat as a mascot. Once he died, it was noticed that there was this absence, that we should do something to fill that void. Initially in '58, we had a student that kind of dressed up Western, dressed up like a cowboy, and sort of portrayed Pistol Pete and maybe did some things at athletic events. Within a year after that, a head was made, and I believe Alan Leach was the first one, and he was the person that portrayed Pistol Pete without the head, and then Charlie Lester was the first to wear the head in 1958-59. Because that would be about the time that the head we have now, that there are 2 of them that are basically similar, was made by some individuals with Walt Disney in California. Basically, we ordered it, they made it and sent it to us, and then one of the individuals that was involved in making it, I guess they made a master of it, and then they figured, well, we could use this for something here at Disney. We got all kinds of events going on, let's just hold on to this one. And I think it was painted differently, different colors and things like that, but in the 80s, basically the man is retiring or had been retired for a while, looks in his garage, and he's got this enormous head, a cowboy head, and he said, let's get this thing out of my garage, it's in the way, I don't need this, and let's figure out what it was used for. Oh, okay, Oklahoma State University, they needed it. Let me give them a call and see if they want it. He said, if you'll pay shipping, you can have it. So that's how we have 2 nice, big, usable heads now.